Well folks, welcome back to the channel. Today we're here again with Mammotion, who have sent in the final robotic lawnmower they have in their series. These are last year's machines, and now these two are this year's machines. We have the compact four-wheel drive Yuka Mini, and now the small Yuka Mini. This one here is a smaller, more compact version of the bigger Yuka, but coming in at a much better price. This one here is more designed to suit the general size lawn on a suburban garden, so more affordable and a smaller machine, so it doesn't take up as much space. So let's get onto this thing, get her out, see what she's like, and give her a test out. The base for your charging station. This is the transformer for powering the charging station. Instruction manuals. Antenna for your RTK station. Spare blades, very handy to have. It's good that they come with that. That there is a wee security key for the top of the mower, so if you want to disable it whenever you're not around, you can just pull that off so nobody else can run it. More accessories. That's just a separate transformer for your RTK station if you want to mount that separately from the charging station, and then a screwdriver and a couple of ground pegs for mounting everything in. Your actual RTK station, paintbrush for keeping her clean, and then a mount then. This is the same as the last one. You can use this both ways. You can use this as a ground spike to quickly set it up on your lawn. Just put it directly in, or you can do away with that if you want better coverage and mount it up on a wall. Turn the actual mount 90 degrees, and you can screw this directly onto a wall then up high for better coverage. That's the way I prefer to do it. Nice foam padding, and the unit itself. Look at this yoke. That is your Yuka Mini. Look at that for a machine. Now a wee small cutting disc on it, but 5 blades, and this actually has 2 casters instead of the one of the older Yuka. That's a very nice wee machine there. Lovely and compact and quite light. And then finally, the only other thing in the box is the top of your charging station. Now, let's get a little look at it first of all. Now the Yukas, these two here, the big and the small, both have a manual height adjustment. So you have to push down and turn this knob to adjust the height. So you can set it from 60mm all the way down to 20mm. The controls are nice and simple, nothing complicated about it. You've got a start, stop button, a home and a grass button. Use them in different combinations to do different things with the mowers. So the likes of it gets jammed or a stop button's pressed, you can just hit grass and start to get going again. The stop button, like I just said, up on top. One press if she's running, stops the machine. You've got the wee pass key up here. This wee boy I was showing you. You get a spare one with the box as well. This is the one installed. So if you're going away and you don't want anybody messing with it, you can just take that out. That'll disable the mower. That just clicks down there. You've got your vision module up on here. This is what has the actual cameras on it. And then you've got a rain sensor up on here, so if it starts raining whenever the machine's out and this gets wet, it knows to stop and go back to the charging station. Also on this one, just like the Yuka Mini, it actually has an LED light at the front as well, so it can work in the dark. Down here, you have your actual carry handle, so you can grab it here for carrying it. One-handed because she's lovely and light. And 2 actual rubber front casters as well, to make it easy to turn around on the lawn. Back wheels then, again, rubber finish of them, lovely big thick treads too, so plenty of grip out of this thing. And then 1 small cutting disc in the middle. And because this is manually adjusted, it can have the floating deck on it as well. So this here deck is actually on springs, so it can adjust to the lawn. So as it's going across, if it's going across a couple of bumpy areas, that'll just smooth out the actual cut to give you a nice level feel, nice level finish. So get off the stickers and we'll get her up and running here. Now for whenever these mowers are actually parked up on the charging station, especially in this kind of climate here in Ireland, I would definitely recommend some sort of cover or a little garage for it to actually go onto. You can either go DIY this kind of job, this is just about a ton with a wee wooden frame on it, or you can just go the easy route and actually get the one from Mammotion. So they actually supply little garages themselves for their mowers. This is the one for the Yuka Mini. So I'll also set this here one up for the Yuka mower. You take him. Thank you. No problem. This little garage from Mammotion is actually quite a nice little setup. Very easy to set up, but it's actually quite a strong little structure as well, especially when it's actually screwed down. And far better than the actual tin roof one I was actually using, which was actually causing a little bit of interference when the mower was on the charging station, causing it to lose position once in a while. But that was only when I was on the schedule. When I was coming out manually, it wasn't really an issue. Look at that. That's a good wee garage. A lot nicer than my one, I know. So first of all, we'll test out this auto mapping feature. See what that's like. The setup for this machine is extremely simple. Mammotion make it as easy as possible. The mower itself, there is no setup. You just simply take it out of the box and it's ready to go. Only thing you need to do is set up the charging station and RTK station. Once they're in position and powered on, simply put the mower into the charging station and that's it, located in its home position. All you have to do then is just hit mapping, go to auto map, and just like here, it'll actually auto map your lawn out for you. If your lawn is a little bit more complex, or if you want to do it a bit more accurately, you can also do it manually, which I did with the Yuka Mini. Now the time it took to actually get this unboxed, get everything set up, auto map this back garden and actually cut it was less than an hour. It took no time at all. The one thing I would say during setup is take the mower inside and actually set it up where there's better Wi-Fi signal, simply so you can download whatever updates you needed to speed up the actual setup process. Apart from that, everything's extremely simple. The only issue I had was just now, whenever the drone I was using decided to land right in front of the mower. That was a good lesson for me. Don't use the drone on its own low battery. Luckily it did the mower no harm at all, and the drone was actually okay as well. Now the sound of the mower actually sounds quite loud here, but if you look on top of it, that little furry thing is actually my microphone. That's the only way I could really get the sound of the mower onto the video, because this thing is near silent when it's running. The lines this leaves in your lawn, I have to say, is one of the straightest I've seen of any mower. Lovely straight neat lines it leaves. So that's the final finish. Not bad. Nice clean cut. So as you can see from me running down during the video there, my little DJI Neo drone decided to stop halfway through and land right in front of it. But it actually didn't even do that much damage. She cut into it here, but that's about the height of it. If that had been a rotary mower, that would have been completely destroyed. That's one of the beauties of these here robotic lawn mowers. If they do go over something, they're not going to do as much damage as you actually think. Because unlike a rotary mower, she's just cutting with these here blades. A rotary mower's got way more torque and is actually sucking everything up inside to actually shoot the grass out. This is just snipping the top blade of the grass and that's it. So if it goes over something, whatever, a toy or a ball or something like that there, it's only the tips of the blade that are just going to be rubbing on it and that's it. As it passes over, it's not going to suck the whole thing in. So whenever that went over it, it just literally caught the edge of the drone and that's it. And the thing actually still works too. 2, 1. Now normally the grass is never this long to have this length of clippings left over. Normally it's in wee small bits. Don't like to have it like this because kids drag it everywhere. So that's the initial cut done, but I'm actually going to tidy this up now. I'm going to use this big brother to clean it up. I'll get the sweeper kit running and actually tidy up the lawn. This is its bigger brother and it has the sweeper kit on it. So I'll just send this out now with the grass bag and that'll actually gather up all the loose bits. Now this might be a smaller, more compact and more affordable machine, but it is not a basic machine. There's still loads of cutting options in this here. There's loads of different ways you can actually program this to cut your lawn. These are all the different cutting options it gives you. There's different ways to customize the way it actually cuts your lawn. So you can adjust the task speed, the cut spacing, the actual distance between each path, the cutting angle, the angle the mower works at on your lawn, the direction of the cut, as in if it's straight lines or a checkered board where it goes back and forth. The checkered board option gives you a lovely flat even finish. You can change the obstacle detection, you can turn on and off perimeter and no-go zone mowing. You can change the order in which it actually cuts, if it does the perimeter first or the lines first. And you can also change the actual point at which the mower starts mowing. This little Yuka Mini actually gets more and more impressive the more you use it. This here is actually an access road at the back of my property that's all overgrown normally. Thought this would be a little bit of a test for it. Not a test at all, it actually just chomped right through it. No problem at all to this machine. Because I was able to do it so easily, got me wondering what this mower is actually capable of. So these Yuka Minis come in two different sizes, the 600 and the 800. This is the 800 series, so this can do about 800 square meters. But that's 800 square meters recommended. This could actually do a little bit more at a push. In optimal conditions, this could probably cut around 1,000 square meters. And that got me wondering how much this can actually cut. So to put it in perspective, this thing could actually cut my front and back garden, this entire access road and the whole park at the front of our estate. So this might be a small robotic lawnmower, but it's very capable. It can do massive areas and it can cut challenging terrains as well. So really, I really needed to test this in a more suitable environment. So I actually took it here. So this is actually a much more suitable garden to test out this Yuka Mini. It's just under 800 square meters. So this place is called Bars B&B. This is a bed and breakfast in Donegal. This place is actually owned by my in-laws. So worked out a perfect place to test out this here mower and have it run for a longer period of time. Because Paddy, my father-in-law, is actually going for a knee operation and it's going to put him out of commission for a few weeks. So he can't actually cut his own lawn. So it worked out well for him. He can actually use the robotic lawnmower to keep his lawns in check. So it has two lawns at the front, one big and one small, and then this other area here at the back. This is a separate private enclosed garden at the back, used as an Airbnb. Paddy himself actually builds shepherd's huts and he has one on the back as an Airbnb pod. So this gives us more a range of different lawns to work on and different paths and areas to actually work around. Now it's only when you set up a robotic mower in a garden like this here that you can really appreciate the wire-free robotic lawnmowers. The thought of actually trying to lay down a ground wire on this complicated garden alone isn't worth thinking about. With these robotic mowers, you simply walk around the boundary with your phone and put in the boundary and that's your area set in. It's simple. So there's no need to use the wee cover here because we've actually parked it, put the charging station right underneath this little hut. So it's tucked in down here out of the rain and there's plenty of shelter. You can easily get on here. So it's charging station here, access to this lawn here, and then connect up this lawn to this one. They've just put on two drop curbs, literally taking out these curbs and just flip them over so it can get up and down no problem. So one here and one over there, and there's a channel then connecting the two. So after it does this one, then it needs to get to the back garden. So this long is all the way up to here. And there's a pathway on up the back then. That's just put on as a channel to access the back of the property. So then that's up around a shepherd's hut then for an Airbnb. And that's it, wee Yuka Mini out in the big lawn now, working away. So to give you an idea of the work this little Yuka Mini is going to be doing, this is the machine it's retiring, a Husqvarna ride-on mower. This was for cutting the big lawn, and then this brand new Husqvarna self-propelled mower was cutting a smaller one. So the total area this Yuka Mini is going to be cutting is around 750 square meters, and that's going to be broken down into two different schedules. First day it's going to be cutting this large lawn, which is around 600 square meters. So this is the one that will actually take the longest to cut. On the second day then, it'll do the two other lawns, the back B&B lawn and the front side lawn. Now initially I did set it up to cut one lawn per day, but the clip-ins were getting a little bit long and you could see them on the grass, so I changed it then to every second day. So the big lawn one day and the two side lawns the second day. Kept the grass clip-ins nice and short then, so you could never see anything left on the grass apart from the lovely straight lines at the end. So the actual run time for the mower is around 2 hours of battery life, and then it takes another 2 hours approximately to actually recharge the mower. And this particular lawn took at least 3 recharges to do the whole thing, so you're looking at roughly around 5 or 6 hours work for the mower. But just look at the finish. So that's it folks, the new Mammotion Yuka Mini. And I have to admit, I am way more impressed by this thing than I actually thought it was going to be. Now I was looking forward to testing it because it's more suited to me and it's right up my street. Smaller, cheaper and suited to more people because it's more residential or suburban based. But I have to say I was way more impressed by this thing than I thought it was going to be. Testing it, I thought I was just testing my own garden because I was assuming, and I'll be the first to admit, I was assuming this is going to be more suited to the likes of my garden, just a small, compact, residential area. But I can do way more. You never really actually think about this 800 square meters that it's capable of. You don't really think about that in terms of size of the grass area. So that's why I actually went and tested it a wee bit more. Took it out the back just to see what she was capable of, to the longer grass, to see what she could actually do. And I was able to cut it, no problem at all. I thought it would struggle, but it didn't. There was no problem at all, just a breeze. So then I started wondering, what sort of area can it do? Well, put the 800 into perspective, so mapped out my garden, mapped out the wee wasteland out the back, and that was nowhere even near close to 800. If you took it out the park, then you were getting closer to, so the whole lot, my garden, that back bit, and the whole park area, the actual residential park at the front of the estate, that was coming up around 1,000 square meters, which technically this could still cover, but that'll be really pushing it to its limits. That's the very max amount of area it can do. But that's the amount of ground this can cover. Unbelievable. So I thought I'd actually take it down to my father-in-law's house. It is actually getting a knee operation, so he sort of needs a bit of extra help cutting the lawn. And this here can actually do the whole thing. I mean, it's really, really impressive, I have to say, just the amount of area that can cut. Now, I know you can get cheaper mowers out there, and generally they are going to be ground wire ones, a little bit more of a torture to set up. But if you're setting it up on the ground, a garden that sort of size, with so many different plots and areas to go around, it's not only a torture to do, but it's going to cost you more than you think, because the amount of ground wire you'll need to put into the lawn is actually going to put the price way up, plus the time in actually setting up, a lot more complicated. This here is just a breeze. Literally the time it takes to walk around your garden, do the perimeter, that's all it takes. A little bit less if you use the auto mapping feature, but it'll take a bit longer to do, and it mightn't get the go no-go areas. But that whole area, before you even take out the no-go areas, was still under 800 meters. I think it was 750 square meters, which this is able to do. I mean, that's very impressive. Like, now it's not able to do it just on one cut. It has to take a few charges to do that whole thing. I think the total cut time it actually came up as, the predicted time, was something like 740 minutes, which is a long time, but there'll be a few charges in between that as well. But you still have to remember, You're not sitting watching it. It's just going out on its own to do its thing. It's running for 2 hours cutting, come back into a charge, and come back out to continue on where it left off. So realistically, that garden is now set. So this goes out one day, does the bigger front area, and then either the second or third day, it can either do the 2 other areas together or do them individually. So this will be going out every second or third day to actually do that there garden. And it's no problem to it. Takes a couple of charges, but still, for the money for this thing is, and the area that it can do, and the quality of the cut, I think it's well worth it, to be quite honest. Now, it is a smaller blade than the Yuka. It's only a single one, but it does give a really nice cut. I know my back garden, it came up really, really nice. Features I do like in it, I like the double caster wheels now. The older Yuka just has a single one. It's good, but it makes it a little bit more unsteady. But more so if it gets caught in anything at the front, if it goes into a divot or a hole or something, it's more inclined to get stuck. With the 2 casters, it doesn't really matter. If one gets down into a hole, this other one's still taking the weight. It's just a better setup, and it just feels a lot more sturdy. Now, the machine itself feels extremely sturdy. Some of them you get, they're just very loose on top. Everything's loose fitting. They can rattle around a wee bit, and motors, especially the drive motors, can be very loud in some of them. Not deafening, obviously, but you'll hear the thing coming. This year, when I was testing it, I kept having to take out the app to actually see where in that garden it was, because if you couldn't see it, you most certainly could not hear it. You had to take the app out to see where it was. Very, very quiet motor. Cutting motor on it, like I showed you. You had to have the microphone up on top to even hear it cutting. The actual drive motors on it, you barely hear it at all. It's nearly silent. Now, the blades on it, the 5 cutting blades, does make a difference if you ask me. More blades do give a better cut and an easier cut. And like you've seen with the drone, where it get caught up, even if it does get caught in anything, it's not doing a massive amount of damage because the blades can still get out of the way. So even though there's a couple of stones in that this thing hit, didn't actually damage or destroy the blades. They mightn't be as sharp, but they're also not broken. I know the drone's not going to cause the most damage, it's only plastic, but there was quite a few stones he did chip into. But yeah, have to say, really, really nice smooth cut in this thing. Love the finish on it. I like the charging station as well, the way she goes on at the back here. Really nice smooth docking station, and nice big contacts on it as well. Huge big wheels on her, loads and loads of grip. I know it's not going to be able to handle as much of a slope as the Luba can, but it can still handle a pretty decent slope in your garden. It's going to get up it no problem. Now, the manual height adjustment in this thing, I know it's a lot easier and handier to do it in the app, but to be honest, it ain't that much. It's definitely quicker and easier to just turn a knob, to be honest. So if this is out running, you want to just increase the depth or lower it, you can easily just go down and just adjust it instead of taking out your phone and getting into the settings. This is just quicker, to be honest. I actually do like this here because it's another thing that just doesn't go wrong. You don't have another motor on there adjusting the height adjustment on the blades. This here is just a lot simpler and easier and probably more reliable in the long run. The camera system on it, fantastic. This recognises quite a bit of stuff, and especially when you're mapping it out, if it sees the trees or obstacles, it does go around it no problem, even just in the mapping. Now, it does leave a bit of a gap, more so than if you were doing it manually, but you would expect that there anyway for auto mapping. The camera on it, not the greatest resolutions, but for these here Mammotion machines, I love the fact that you can have a live camera feed, not just for driving around the actual garden or for watching it work, but just an extra bit of security for the house. You have a live feed looking to wherever this is pointing to all the time. I really like that feature. Now, no wiper in this one, to be honest, doesn't matter, but I do like the wee LED light, the wee headlight in the front of it. Comes in very handy if it's out after dark. But yeah, this thing in general makes a beautiful cut, really simple to operate, fantastic to actually set up. Couldn't recommend this thing enough. It's the actual amount of ground this thing was able to cut really impressed me the most. I know I've been testing them on the garden that. This one, I thought I'd push it a wee bit more to see the total area, but I was not expecting it to do that amount of ground. That was a big garden that's actually cutting, and this is a tiny little compact mower, and it's still able to do it. Have to say, really, really impressed with this here Mammotion Yuka Mini. It's only a mini machine, but it's not going to take up all that much ground once you sit and charging, and you're not going to notice it working at all. Your lawn is going to be kept pristine, neat and tidy, and you're hardly even going to know it. I would definitely be recommending this thing. Check them out, folks. The Mammotion Yuka Mini. The wee mini series machines are definitely worth a look.